Speaking
He's
of
a
sexy,
child.
joining us now on the Xfinity call-in line,
Charlie!
Philly's number one hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor.
Charlie, can you believe it? The Flyers drafted a big guy.
How we feeling?
It is surprising at how unsurprising it is that this was the pick.
Charlie,
However, he's not just big. He is really, really big.
He's real big.
He's massive.
the elite prospects
The large human.
has him at 6'7" and a quarter, 240, and he is not 18 for another 3 weeks. This is a massive human being. How you feel about it? They take him, they trade down, take him at 27. You had him ranked 33 in your top 50 board, so not the greatest reach in the world. What do you think of the pick itself?
Yeah, I think where I'm at is I'm definitely not as, and this goes back to before the pick. I have not been as negative about Sokolovskii as I think a lot of people online have been. I would not have picked him at 33, but I do think this is the right range for him. And from the start of my draft research, I was like, oh yeah, they're going to love this guy. And the size is obviously part of it. That is a big part of it, but it's the physicality, it's the meanness. One thing I've learned as I've moved into watching prospects pre-draft over the last 10 years or so is that you can't teach size. That is true. But the other thing you can't teach is that you can't teach meanness. There are a lot of big guys who they'll hit, but they're not innately mean on the ice. This guy's mean. I mean, this guy wants to deliver punishment, so I knew they would like that. I also knew they would like the London factor because they believe that London is a really, really good place to develop players. I think, and I'm going to ask Danny Briere this when we talk to him, hopefully in a little bit, I think he's going to spend one more year in London before he goes to college, and that's good. That's good for his development.
Okay.
I think where I'm at with this is you're not going to, I feel like when the Flyers usually take big guys, I'm thinking Adam Jinnick. When they took him, it was oh God, you're taking a low upside big dude because he's big. This is not a low upside pick in my mind. This is a boomer bust pick. It's just a boomer bust pick in a way that is different from your average boomer bust pick. This is a guy who he flashes puck skills. He flashes the ability to make plays. He's actually got a pretty decent first pass out of his zone. It's just that his offensive game is not existent. But it's not I've watched defensemen who you watch them with the puck and you're just they're never going to do anything. I think I talked about him on the show this past week. Charlie Ellick was a guy. He was a Brandon Weekend a couple years ago. I watched tape of him and I'm he's never going to score ever. You watch tape of Sokolovskii and you're it's in there. Now, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to pull it out of him consistently. I don't know. But it's in there. There is skill there, and he is a good skater for his size, and he's young for his draft year. There are a lot of tools in here. This to me is if he hits, he could be a top 4 defenseman. I do believe that. I think there is top 4 defenseman upside in a very unique package. That said, there's a world where he just completely busts and either can't even come close to the NHL because he just can't do anything consistently with the puck, or, and I think this is the worst case scenario, he does make the NHL because he's huge and he's terrible and they just keep playing him because he's huge. I'm thinking Logan Stanley being the worst case scenario, where Logan Stanley was a first round pick. He was 6'7", so he kept getting games and getting minutes, and he would get crushed in all those minutes. That's the concern. But I do think there is legitimate top 4 upside if he continues to develop the puck game, which I do think, based on what I've watched, I do think it's in there. It just, you don't see it enough. He's young for his year. He's got the physical tools. He's a good skater for his size. So to me, this is a boomer bust pick. And if they made this pick at 21, I would have hated it. But you trade back a few picks, you get an extra second rounder, you get an extra 4th rounder, and then you take the boomer bust swing. I can live with it. It's maybe not who I would have taken, but I can live with it. That said, this is coming from someone who didn't hate him going into this draft. I gather there were a lot of people, particularly on social media, who hated him going into this draft.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he was always the target, hence the trade down? Or maybe some guys got taken ahead of him after they trade down? Montreal jumps them to get Gleb Pugachev. Do you think maybe he was on their board, that's why Montreal moves up? Or do you think it was just always Sokolovskii?
I know I can see why Montreal would have worried that they had to jump up to get Pukashov because he is a big hitter. I could see them being like, ooh, the Flyers might go for. I compared him to like Shane Van Sage if Shane Van Sage could skate. That was basically Pukashov. So like I get it. I get why Montreal might think. My guess is it was always Sokolovskii. I can obviously ask Briere that at some point when we talk to him, but. That's my guess. I don't know for sure. The guys that went in between 21 and 27, like I loved Adam Novotny. I don't know if the Flyers would have taken Adam Novotny, but like that would have been my pick at 21. Him or Ryan Lynn. Lynn like was tops on my board, but I never thought they were going to take a small defenseman. I just didn't think that was in their that was what they were going to do. But I would have taken Novotny, and I was hoping Novotny was going to slip to 27. If he would have slipped to 27, would they have taken him? Maybe. He's a darn good prospect. I like him a lot. But Sokolovskii from the jump, like when I started doing research, when I was like, huge, mean, young for his draft year, flashes high-end tools but doesn't show them regularly, and he's a London product. It was like, that has Flyers written all over it.
Could not help themselves.
It does seem like this isn't going on inside information. This is just going by like common sense. I would guess he was probably always their guy. They just knew that we can trade down and get him, so let's trade down and get him anyway.
I will say the one piece they're missing from the perfect Flyers pick, he can skate. Like, for his size, everything about his skating sounds good. And usually they take a guy who can't skate. So that is a little bit of a change.
But he could definitely get better at skating. And, he is young for his draft year. So you're hoping that maybe the skating develops even further because, again, guy's still 17 years old. Like, again, I don't hate this pick because I do see the upside. It's not an Adam Ginning pick where it's like, he's a third pair guy at best. Like, if it all comes together, he could be a unicorn of a defenseman.
A boat?
It's just gonna be it's gonna be a while. The Flyers also need to be they also need to be patient with this guy. They need to be patient. They need to be waiting like 3-4 years for him to become what he's going to become. They cannot rush him.
I think the age and the fact that he's probably going back to the OHL before I think he's committed to University of Maine shows that they're absolutely going to be patient. We will of course see. Charlie, any other news and notes from Atlantic City?
Not really. Honestly, kind of a boring draft, I would say. There were a couple big pieces of news, like the Werenski news. That was interesting. I think what was it? LeBrun reported that the Flyers have already checked in, so they're going to be in on that. Now, whether Werenski wants to come to Philly, I have no idea, but good to hear that the Flyers are already poking around on that one because go get Zach Werenski. That would be great. Beyond that, nothing too crazy. Didn't really hear any, but it's a totally different feel than the centralized draft. Like centralized draft, you're walking around, you're meeting somebody at every turn, you're having conversations all the time. This honestly, all the media people we're just in a room, we're just kind of watching TV and waiting.
How much did you win at the blackjack table, Charlie?
Kelly, I have not gambled for a second, and I don't know if I'll have a chance to gamble even a little bit on this trip. I wish I had.
Steve Coates wants you to lighten up.
I'm going to try, Steve Coates. I'm going to try.
It is.
I'm going to try. But it's going to be a busy.
Gamble some of that hard-earned money away.
It's going to be a busy weekend. I always have to write an article after I get back downstairs to interview Danny. Then I'll come back up to my article. Then maybe I'll poke around the tables. Maybe I'll toss.
You got 3 stars of the draft for us, Chuck? I know I just sprung this on you.
Oh God, really?
Charlie,
Brenna's got the graphic up and everything.
Sure. 3rd star of the draft. It's the Italian hoagie things that I had before the draft. Ooh. They were given to us for free by the Flyers. So I guess they paid me off with free Italian hoagies.
He's on the take.
Wait till the people hear about this.
For the team.
Star number 2 is the Jonesy London connection. It's just something they have trouble passing up. And then star number 1, I really like the trade down. If you were going to take Sokolovskii, I think taking him at 21, I would have been very critical of. Then to me, that's a clear reach. At 27, after you trade down, I can accept it.
All right, that is Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity call-in line. Charlie will be live at the desk with us tomorrow for Draft Day Live Day 2, brought to you by our friends at Ashley and, of course, Wawa. Charlie, Tommy Blyle just went to Nashville. They moved up into Carolina's spot at 31. and now 32 Ottawa sitting there, and then the draft is over for the night, my friend.
Finally, we
will
made it.
talk tomorrow.
Bye, Charlie.
All right.
Bye,
Sounds
Charlie.
good. Bye, guys.